What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of State of the Steelers. Today, we're going to be breaking down the film. We're going to be looking at Will Howard's 2 interceptions against the New York Jets in the 17-0 loss, shutout loss, at the hands of the New York Jets at home in Acrisure Stadium the other night. And there's been a lot of debate. Who was at fault for those interceptions? Was it Roman Wilson? Was it Will Howard? Well, the film don't lie, and today we're going to find out indeed who it was. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell. You guys know what to do. Without further ado, let's get into it. It's 3rd down and 4. The Pittsburgh Steelers are at the New York Jets 14-yard line. Will Howard's in shotgun formation. And what we're going to see is Roman Wilson just come across the field. Now, the debate is that he should have, at the top of his route, flattened out the route. Let's look at it first and foremost, just the play in general. Let's run the whole play, and then we'll break it down. So Will drops back. He's actually surveying the field. This isn't his first read, so I like that he's going through his progressions. Don't like the interception. Don't like the placement of the ball. Is it Roman Wilson's fault? Did he drift too far up the field, allowing Cisco to come in here and intercept the ball? Let's take a look. I mean, this entire route that Roman Wilson is running is a little bit of a shake and bake right here. But he's continuing in the same trajectory, like a little bit of a slant, not necessarily like an up and come across, But again, I don't know what the route is. You see, from the get-go, he's just a little shake and then slanting across the field here. Now he does kind of, at the top of the route, curve this way. Now the argument is, and let's rewind this a little bit to where Will Howard is throwing the ball. All right, so here's the argument. This is where Will Howard lets go of the ball. This is where Roman Wilson is. He's at about 6-7 yard line, somewhere around there. And when the ball is intercepted, he's going to be on the other side of the 5-yard line. So he's going to drift back. And so let's watch that. You see how far back he is. When the ball is intercepted, he's like at the 4-yard line. The player looks like he's closer to maybe the 7-yard line, getting close to the 8-yard line when he comes down with the ball. Now, this pass is probably about 12 air yards, so it's not a very far pass. And what I think the problem is on this play here has to do with the arm strength. Now, does Roman Wilson run the wrong route? Maybe, but let's back this up. Here's where Will Howard is throwing the ball. So I'm going to draw this line real quick, and this is the direction that Roman Wilson is traveling. Now, what I'm going to do now is just duplicate the same line and just move it this way, so that way it points in the direction in which Roman Wilson should be going. Now, as you can see, what happens is he would have been further towards the sideline had he ran a flatter route. The fact that he drifted allows for this ball to be somewhat, and I say that somewhat, close to the intended target. Right over my shoulder. Because let's look at the end zone view. All right, so this is the point in which Will Howard decides that he's going to throw the ball. Now, where do you guys think that he should throw the ball? I think that the ball should, travel around to about right here. Yeah, that's kind of where he throws the ball. But look at how slow the ball gets there. That's the problem. From the other angle, it's kind of hard to tell. But again, this is only like 14 yards in the air as well. This ball should not take this long to get there. It's so slow getting there that this defensive back jumps a little bit early, anticipating the ball getting there sooner. And so had Roman Wilson ran a flatter route, and you see the ball's already out of his hands. Had Roman Wilson ran a flatter route, he would have been, so instead of right here, Roman Wilson would have been like right here. Right? The fact that he drifted upward makes him somewhat in the vicinity. But had he ran a flatter route, he would have been way over here. And then how far behind would that ball have been? So this ball is already behind him. Look at how he's having to stop to turn back. And so I just think that this is more so on Will Howard and his ability to throw the ball than it is on Roman Wilson. Both things could be right at the same time. Roman Wilson could have ran a better route, and Will Howard just didn't get the ball there. I mean, that's just too slow. And that's far behind him. I do like the progression. He sees him here. He makes the decision that he's going to throw. I guess he just doesn't see the safety over there. And, you know, I started to think maybe perhaps he took a little bit off of it because he saw the safety at the last minute. But I don't know. I mean, he doesn't react to the interception until it's intercepted. You know, sometimes when somebody throws the ball and they're like, oh, crap, it's already going to be intercepted, they've already started running, you know, to try to stop the defender. In this scenario here, that's not the case. Let's look at the next play. All right, so we got another third down play here, 3rd and 5 on the New York Jets 37-yard line. And on this play here, what we're going to have is Roman Wilson, again, kind of doing the same type of play where he's just crossing the field in a slant type route that I can see. Now, could it have been flatter? Maybe. I don't know. Let's watch it first. Let's watch it first, and then we'll break it down. So right here, right off the rip, again, this is Will Howard actually doing pretty good. He's going through his progressions. You can see that he's looking at the left side of the field. And this is where the pass interference comes into play because this is somewhat of a pick play. Doesn't really work. You have some congestion here. And so Will Howard turns, looks at his next guy, sees Roman Wilson, and man, this is open. He should throw it here. I think the ball just takes too long to get there, guys. I think this is what we're looking at again. Could he have ran a different route? I don't know if he flans this out and goes this way. The ball is out of his hands. And so if he was anticipating Roman Wilson to run this direction, then this is going to be severely underthrown. Maybe the argument could be Roman was supposed to flatten his route somewhere else. The only problem with that is if he does, you have this guy right here, plus you also have all of this congestion right here. I'm not sure a play design is going to have 3 guys all in the same area like that, attracting 4 defenders. So I don't know. Maybe he did run the wrong route. Maybe he didn't. But the ball's already gone. And I think the ball just takes too long to get there. This is what, a little bit, maybe 20 yards down the field, tops. And the ball just takes forever to get out of his hands to get there. Look at that. That's just a long time. He just does not have the arm strength. Good decision, you know, good throw. If he could throw a little bit more velocity to get the ball there. Let's check it from the end zone view so you guys can see, and you guys can see what I'm saying about how far behind he would have thrown the ball had he, you know, had Wilson flattened his route as well. Man, he's open. He's open. If he could just get it there. The problem is the ball just hangs in the air and allows this guy to undercut it. If he's going to do this, he needs to get it up over him and down this way. Now, I'm not saying that Roman Wilson isn't at fault at all. You know, he probably could have come back a little bit more, given his quarterback a chance, you know, fight for his quarterback, so to speak. You know, this could be why we don't see a lot of Roman Wilson. This guy, I think he did some good things as well. This is probably one of my favorite plays. This is a deep shot from the for a 16-yard gain to the New York 31. This is right before the interception. But look at what he does here. This is what you want to see out of a young quarterback. You know, he's steps back. There's a blitz. He recognizes that. He stays cool under pressure, moves up into the pocket, and then delivers a throw. Will Howard could throw the ball just a little bit harder, have just a little bit more velocity on the ball. I think he would be somebody you can be excited about. Because he does have plays like this. He's got plays where it just makes you think that this guy can be, you know, somebody that you can develop and work with. So I didn't want to end it on a completely negative for Will Howard. I thought he played overall. I thought he played okay. I thought his decision making and his progressions were good. I think that the only thing that really let him down is just the arm strength. Now, you know, I think that it's not a complete this is it for him. I don't think he, lost his position on the 53 with just this performance. I do think, though, it is important on how you respond. And so I anticipate the Steelers are going to look at more of Drew Aller next week, maybe perhaps switch it, Drew Aller in the first half, Will Howard in the second half. If Will Howard responds positive and he goes out there and has a performance that was similar to the week 1 performance, or maybe even a little bit better, builds off of that, I think that's what you would want to see. You want to see a young quarterback go through struggle, go through adversity, and then bounce back. I'm not giving up on Will Howard yet. I think next week's performance is going to be huge for him. And it's going to determine whether or not he's going to be a member of the 53 or whether or not he's going to find himself on the practice squad. I do think that he will stay a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers one way or the other, whether it's the roster or practice squad. If he goes out there and doesn't improve from this past performance, I think that that's going to give the Steelers confidence that they're going to be able to waive him and he's not going to get caught on somewhere else. Because let's face it, he hasn't done much, nothing in an NFL game that matters. And if he has a similar performance where he throws a couple of interceptions, no touchdowns and things of that nature, who's going to want to put him on their 53? I mean, he's the worst thing that you would be looking at is that he chooses to go to somebody else's practice squad over the Pittsburgh Steelers because maybe perhaps he feels that the Steelers have an answer with Drew Aller and he wants a place that he can potentially compete in the future. Well, we're going to be doing the rest of this week. I got a lot of film breakdown. We're going to look at Drew Aller next. I think he played a little bit better than what his stats said. And so we'll look at Drew Aller. I want to look at Caleb Johnson. I also want to look at the offensive line because I felt like they kind of had their struggles as well. So please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.